Nyamada nthawi yakwana.
Nthawi yoti tikambisane za business.
Kuyendetsa business yako muntu.
Kukuza business yako.
Ndine mtsikana wa business.
Ineso ndi nyamata wa business.
Wa business yanga yanyamuka.
Ndife mbado wa Zantchito. Inde Zantchito Entrepreneurship Voices, ZEV.
ZEV. Phada lokubathanini ubangili wakayendetsedwe kama business. Ikuthandizidwa ndi ndalama zochokera ku European Union mogwirizana ndi boma la Malawi. Tsopano ndi nthawi ya ndi business yanga.
Ichi ndi chocolate chopangidwa mwaluso komanso ndi masomphenya. Chocolate chimenechi ndi chopangidwa ndi Malawi, ndi chofewa komanso chapamwamba. Chocolate ichi chili ndi nkhani yomwe inayambira kalekale chocolate ichi asanachipange. Kuti timvetse za nkhani imeneyi tikuyenera kubwerera komwe kumene njere zoyamba zinadzalidwa. Kumeneku ndi kuwazi ku Nkhatabe. Lero mpulogalamu yathu ya Zantchito Entrepreneurship Voices documentary series timva zambiri za Kwanza Cocoa. Ndipo mu episode yoyambayi Wezi Mzumara yemwe ndi founder atifotokozera za chiyambi cha Kwanza Cocoa. Okay, so Wezi, this is the Kwanza Cocoa farm.
Yes.
Where all your raw materials are coming from.
This is where, I'd say 40% of our raw materials is coming from at the moment, and then the rest we buy from farmers.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, now before we speak about the cocoa production and the rest, let's understand who is Wezi Mzumara.
So Wezi Mzumara is a cocoa farmer, chocolate maker, and chocolatier. But before that, I was actually a media professional and also a PR consultant.
Okay.
And an event manager.
Wow, interesting.
So I have a very interesting background, which is not technically agriculture related, but my interest peaked in agriculture just before COVID, during the COVID pandemic. Yeah.
Okay, so as a media professional, I think we can even exchange roles here.
Yeah, I do the interview and you can answer the questions.
Okay,
yeah, sure.
Okay, good. Now, quite an interesting background. Let's talk about the cocoa now. What made you to venture into the cocoa production?
So I moved back to Malawi in 2011, and I found my parents had planted 4 cocoa trees. And to me...
4 cocoa trees?
Just 4, just 4. So they said to me that, Malawi is an agri-based economy, and you need to farm something. You can be doing Mzuzu Fashion Week, you can be doing your PR consultancy, you can be doing your events, but make sure that you have something planted in the ground whilst you're doing all of these other things. So for me, maize was no, tobacco was a no, soya, I had no interest. So what sparked my attention was the 4 trees that were planted on this farm. Then they weren't fruiting at the time, and they started fruiting around 2013, 2014.
Okay.
And that's the turning point where I said, okay, cocoa can be a thing. So in 2013, we planted 40 more trees. And then in 2017, we planted 1,000 more trees. And now we are sitting on a farm which has just over 1,800 trees, which is almost 2 hectares.
From 4 trees?
From 4 trees.
Okay, by the way, how big is this farm?
It's just over 2 hectares. So we are already full, or we're already reaching our maximum population of cocoa trees.
Okay.
But it's more than just a farm. For me, when we started growing cocoa, it was more of a thing of let's just export the beans without having to think about value addition. And then when COVID came, the questions around value addition, what is cocoa really? Is it just a commodity? Or is there more to life than just cocoa?
Okay. Now, you talked about yourself being as a chocolate maker.
Yes. How did that happen?
Yeah, I'm surprised.
So me becoming a chocolate maker actually was just generally sparked out of interest. Why are we not value adding to cocoa on the continent?
Yeah.
Ghana and Ivory Coast are the biggest exporters of cocoa, but you're not seeing many chocolate makers coming out of chocolatiers coming out of West Africa. obviously with Ghana, Ivory Coast, and all of the other countries, they have a cocoa board, which controls the pricing of the cocoa. So as a local, you don't have the access to the cocoa beans to now start doing the value addition process. So Malawi doesn't have a cocoa board, so it gave us the opportunity to have unregulated access to now thinking about value addition. What are the processes in value addition? I didn't learn chocolate just in a day. Obviously, I had guidance from people in Trinidad, Jamaica, and also Ghana, Nigeria, to start my journey in chocolate making. But then I realized that in the chocolate making process itself, cocoa is not just chocolate. You value add from the point of being at the farm. So value addition for cocoa starts at the farm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Now, you talked about your parents, that started planting. Was it 3 or 4?
4 trees, yeah.
Yes, 4 trees.
Yeah.
Now, how did this family background, influence you to become this, or to reach this far?
I remember as a child, when we were still living in Ethiopia, my dad started his orange farm in Rumpi, in Hewe.
Okay.
So I remember, I think I was 3 years at this point. This was 1990, and he made us all plant orange trees.
Okay.
And I remember my sister was crying on top of an anthill. Me, I was too young to know what was going on. I was just like, we're in the farm for fun. But that upbringing has brought us into thinking, agriculture is the way forward. Yeah.
Do you see in the future, or perhaps why are we failing to realize that this is perhaps the way to go?
I think when it comes to Malawi, when we talk about farming, a lot of people think about maize, tobacco. We're not really talking about high-value crops that can turn around the economy. So when we're talking about high-value crops, obviously you have cocoa as one, because cocoa currently 1 kilo fluctuates between $6 to $12. Okay. Vanilla is also a high-value crop that can be grown in Malawi. Cardamom, all the spices can be grown here. The beauty about Malawi is we have various climates, so you find everything grows. I think we've been mentally conditioned to thinking that we can't do, but we actually can.
Okay, and when did you realize this yourself?
When the first cocoa started fruiting.
Okay.
That was like, okay, we can do it.
This is the moment.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fine. Let's just appreciate the farm and then see what is here.
Yes, let's go.
Okay. I wanted to understand, because cocoa can be made into several products.
Yes.
And what inspired you now to venture into chocolate business?
During the COVID period, I was attending a lot of online Zoom workshops around cocoa. And then there was, I think, 2 particular ones, the Eco Chocolate Show and another one where they were discussing about value addition on the continent. And I remember in that session, there was Loom Craft Chocolate, who are based in Nigeria, a Hawaiian company, and also, funny enough, a coffee company called Happy Coffee.
Now, like this tree, Wezi, how old should it be?
This tree should be about 2 years old.
2 years old?
Yes.
Okay, and how long does it take to
start bearing fruit? It takes 4 to 5 years.
4 to 5 years.
So it requires patience. It's not a pompo thing.
Yeah.
So it requires patience. That's why when we say you're farming cocoa, you're not farming for yourself, but you're farming for future generations.
Wezi, many Malawians now, especially young ones, they're venturing into agribusiness. Many of them, people are buying land and starting growing crops. How important is it for them now to consider high-value crops like cocoa?
I think considering higher value crops gives you a more competitive forte in terms of the agribusiness space. Because if you're planting maize, the next year, within 6 months, your maize is gone. You might have made losses from farming inputs. But if you put trees in the ground, the trees that you put in the ground, like with things like mango, macadamia, those things last for a longer period of time. And then you can you can be harvesting for a longer period of time, which is why we're now telling people to plant cocoa.
Okay. Now, this one, how old is it?
So this tree was planted in 2017.
Okay.
So you can see by the color of the pod, it's red.
Are these ripe?
No, they're not ripe.
Okay.
So this variety in particular is called Trinitario. Trinitario.
Okay.
So Trinitario is red in color. And then when it becomes ripe, it becomes like a yellowish color like that one. So the other variety, so the other variety is with our farm manager, Mr. Chuoni. So this...
Yeah.
So this variety is Criollo. So Criollo is yellow in color. So you can tell the difference. One is yellow, one is red.
Ajona, inungati manager wa farm imene. Sobano mugina chido yanchi kwa libano.
Akati pano tukolola.
Sobano izi zima mugina chido yanchi.
Izi ni masamba timachosa. Akachuluka pepo silo wabwino.
Ndibanyi sima sesa kumakataya kabena.
Izi zimathandiza kusunga chinyezi komanso kulesa mauzu kuti asamere ambiri.
Zili ngati manyowa anso.
Ngati manyowa.
So bamujona munaphunzira kuti nkhani zokudza ulimi wa koko.
Ndinaphunzira pano. Amandiphunzitsa enaye chimunda kufumira mabuku.
Kufumira mabuku. Koma nkhani za ulimi munaphunzira kuti.
Ku Bunda College of Agriculture.
Ndimene munaphunzira. Okay, chabwino. Ndi timafuna kuyambira pa nthawi inayamba kudzala mitengo yoyambirira. Akuti munali mitengo 4 munda muno koyamba. Kena kuti kudzala no mitengo ingapo yakhale kuyenda bwanji ntchito imeneyi.
Khala kuyenda bwino. Yakhale timapeza mavuto. Chifukwa sitimaziwa kuti mtengo umakondana ni chimehe kwambiri. Chiswe. Ndiye mtengo yoyamba yambiri inafa ni chiswe.
Chabwino, inali njira yanji imene munapeza kuti muthane ndi chiswe.
Timayamba kudzala na ndolo.
Ndi chifukwa chani mina chiswe chimathamangira na ndolo kusiya koko.
Na ndolo konyanga takukoma kwambiri kuposa koko.
Na ndolo amatsekemera chikamadya chiswe chichi.
Amasekemera. Tiziganza kuti amasekemera chifukwa.
Koko amakhala kuti
kana ngasichi chimasiya koko chimapita
kuna ndolo. Chabwino. Ndimene kupata mavuto achiswewa ngati farm kunoko pa ulimi wanu wa koko. Mbona mavuto enanja amene makhamu kumana nawo?
Zuwa koko amakonda madzi. Ndiye nthawi zina mvula imaza siya pa nthawi imene sitinakonzekere. Leka nimaona matanki awo kuyesesa kuti tizipasira madzi pa nthawi imene koko aufuna madzi.
Muchiraso ulimi othiriraso ndi koko imweyo.
Othiriraso maenda mumaona mapaipi mwina. Timathirira kuti timteteze. Koko ndi zuwa zimadana kwambiri.
Chabwino.
Leka nimukuona kuti tazala nthochi. Komanso na ndolo jetanena. Amatipasira mthuzi kukoko wa mng'ono.
Na nthochi zimadani?
Nthochi zindi khalidwe lokoka chinyezi pasi. Ndi chinyezi chimakhala kupamwamba mukamakumbapo muona chinyezi msanga kusiyana amene mungakumbira apa chinyezi simuchipeza.
Ndiye ndiofatone kuti potengera ma variety amene muli nawo munda muno. Ndi variety imene mukuyona kuti ikuoneka kuti ndiyopindulitsa kwambiri.
Variety zonse zimapindulitsa. Pazifukwa izi. Ina imachita maluwa ambiri nthawi ni nthawi. Ina imachita maluwa ochepa koma siwa ziyire. Chaka chonse thunthu. Maluwa amakhala ochepa koma timakololamo
chaka ni chaka.
Chaka mwezi.
Chabwino ndiye pokolola. Mwadziwa bwanji kuti koko uyu wapsa akuyina liti mukolole.
Amasintha mtundu. Kuchokera ku green kupita ku yellow.
Ngati makhalira mango muchi.
Ngati mene mapsa mango amapsa koko.
Chabwino ndiye wapsano wafika yellow ja mwamuchola. Mumamutani.
Kama mchola kupita nayo ku office. Ku shedi. Timapima kaya. Chifukwa tiziziwa pod weight. Kena kutita swa tipimeso njere. Pap weight. Ndiye kena ko timatumiza factory tukakaita ferment.
Ubale wanu ndi achito mene mukuyang'anira mukhautani.
Mwakhala bwino chifukwa choti kuti munthu asamale bwino ntchito azikhala kuti akuona chikondi. Mukama mkonda naye akakonda mbewu yanu. Chifukwa mbewu imafunika munthu azikonda. Mkuona mtu tena sisi Mungu tena wamba ayende mankhwala kuphakapo kandamu matenda ina timatifangasi. So azikhala chikondi ntchito. Kwa mukama dana naye kapena ngasimu kumsamala naye sala ntchito yanu.
Chabwino timalize ndi kuti munachita maphunziro anu a zaulimi kubunda. Komanso munawerenga mabuku okudza za koko izi. Zimene zakuthandizani bwanji ngati manager wa famu kuti zonse zikhazi kuyenda mchimali.
Zanipasa zero yaikulu kwambiri. Ndikudandaula kuti napeza zero inakalamba. Koma kumafunika kuti anyamata ngati inuyo kuipeza. Kuti muigwise bwino ntchito. Chifukwa ngati kuno ku Malawi sopano mwina woti apunzaza koko ndiochepa. So nikhala one of the wayugimoza wauchepa koma ni wamkulu. Kana khawa mnyamata ziko likanadalia kana sekela kuti azipfunzisa zace.
Achona tathokoza kwambiri taphunza zambiri zokhudza koko. Musadandaule sokuti mwapeza nzeru zimule achikulire AI. Nzeru zimenezi mupitirize kugayira anyamata afe tizigwiritsa ntchito. Ziko kwambiri ine ndipitirize kucheza ndi Wezi. Ziko kwambiri. Ziko. Back to you, Wezi. I want to get you to the very first years of your production. How did you get started?
So making chocolate was an accident. I say it's an accident because when COVID started, I started actually growing tomatoes.
Okay.
So, you know how you trail tomatoes up when you're tying them up.
Yeah.
So my mom had gone into a shop in Mzuzu to look for string, the white string. And she comes into the car, she goes, Wezi, I think I just saw that thing that we saw on Instagram, the one that goes, woo.
And what was that?
That makes chocolate.
Okay.
So I had to pull a daddy because I wasn't working at the time. So he actually made the first initial investment into us making chocolate, which was 80,000.
Okay.
For this small machine, which we were producing 1 kilo of chocolate from.
The process might sound a bit easier, but let's appreciate the process, the challenges that you went through. Let's begin with the first challenges that you encountered.
The first challenge I encountered is chocolate is a science. And what you do at the farm affects the taste of the chocolate. That is the first challenge that I ever encountered. I encountered the fact that if you ferment for 2 days, your chocolate is very acidic.
Okay.
So you have to do the full cycle of fermentation of 7 days of fermentation, especially during the winter months, because when you're fermenting the cocoa beans, they need to reach an optimal temperature of 45 degrees Celsius. And this is when I began to realize chocolate is a science more than anything else. Before you even get to eating the nice sweet things and the pretty things, it's a science before that. So you start with the harvesting. So even before you even get to harvesting is tree care. Are the trees being looked after well? Is there any pests? Is there any diseases? So these all impact your end product. So it's important to now understand each process of what you're adding value to, not to just go and say, I'm going to add value straight away, which is what a lot of entrepreneurs do. They'll say, okay, I've got the groundnuts, I'm now going to make peanut butter. But then the taste and the quality of the peanut butter also matters. So for the taste and the quality of the cocoa and where it's coming from also matters.
The media profession now had to go into science.
Into science and agriculture. So what I did to now put that element of my background into what I was doing is I captured a lot of what we're doing from the beginning process. So set up our Instagram page, set up our Twitter page. So people have watched, our customers have actually watched the journey of me being a cocoa farmer from back in the day to now having a fully furnished product. So that's about, 10 good years worth of content of just following the process of me coming to the farm. I know I was posting Instagram stories where these trees were actually like here. During COVID, we were pruning this section of trees and they were about here.
Okay.
So it's nice for our customers to actually see from the beginning to the end of a product. And if you're a new customer, you can also follow the journey through our social media channels.
Okay. Now, was there a moment that you doubted if this is going to work?
I never doubted it because everybody is always eating chocolate.
So we know that agriculture is also affected highly by pests and diseases.
I mean, we do get a few diseases like black pod disease, the normal funguses, but we use neem oil. We try to maintain organic farming, so we use neem oil.
Neem oil?
Yeah, neem oil as a pesticide. Other than that, you know, it's easy running. I say personally, cocoa is a lazy crop because we only started looking after the trees properly when we started harvesting. But in the first 4 or 5 years, they were just here. We'd come and prune maybe once every 3 months. And the reason that we prune is to keep our trees short so that it's easier to harvest.
Okay.
If you let your trees go tall, it becomes harder to harvest. And then when you're harvesting, you end up damaging the trees.
Now, do you rely on the rains or you've gone also into irrigation?
So currently we rely mainly on the rains. We do have a irrigation system that is semi-set up, but things break.
Yeah.
Things break, so our water pump is broken at the moment, but thank God the rains are just about to start, so we're not so worried. But by probably mid-year next year, we will be fully irrigated. Yeah.
There are communities around here, around this farm.
Yes.
When you started this farm,
Yes.
what was their reaction?
They're like, Antu ajama banda makuni, there's nothing happening. They're just seeing the trees, but now you see that they're fruiting, and then you have the community who have an interest in now farming cocoa. So what we do particularly for our community in Luwazi is every year we provide them with 10 free seedlings for them to go off and plant. We do that strictly for Luwazi, but for all the other farmers who we call our commercial outgrowers, they buy seedlings. And the reason we've done this is we've noticed a trend. If you give someone something for free, they won't look after it.
Sure.
If they've made an investment in something, they are more likely to look after it. So we're still maintaining the 10 seedlings, but if you want more, you'll have to buy them. Because then you feel like, you know, I'm putting my own in, so we're meeting halfway.
I was about to ask about your relationship with the communities around here. Because if sometimes when you're not in good relationship with them, they might become another pest. How do you manage them?
The community are there to help us. They're not a pest. We work together. You had asked me what Kwanza means. So Kwanza means first fruit of the harvest. Then Kwanza also has another meaning. It's a theory, and it has 7 principles. And one of the principles of Kwanza is ujama.
Ujama?
Yes.
Is Swahili. That Swahili? Yes.
It's Swahili. So one of the principles of Kwanza is ujama. And within ujama, it means we must build communities together.
The brotherhood.
Yes. We must grow together. We must not grow alone, but we must grow together. And that's very important to us as a brand. That's why we use Kwanza, because we have elements within the brand, our brand practices, like Ujama, which is bringing the community together. So apart from giving them 10 seedlings, the people around us 10 seedlings every year, we also invite open days for all the GVHs in the area. So we have maybe 20 GVHs all come, all learn about cocoa. And it's always a funny experience because then they actually get to taste the chocolate and then they understand, okay, this is what we're planting.
Okay.
They have an understanding and a knowledge now. I mean, for Nkarabe, the people of Nkarabe, now they're knowing that cocoa is the future.
Okay.
And it's a great thing that we have all the GVHs involved because they're now going to tell their communities, let's go plant. Let's plant together.
Now, aspiring cocoa farmers, okay, that are watching, that are listening to us now, what would you advise them as we conclude this program?
To the aspiring cocoa farmers, I would request them to do the research. You know, me being a cocoa farmer was not just waking up and saying I want to plant cocoa. I was up at 2 a.m. reading. And the beauty is now everybody's got a smartphone. It should not be used for just TikTok and WhatsApp. But your mobile phone is your biggest resource in life because you can ask AI questions. You can download huge PDF documents and then ask AI to summarize if you don't have the time to read them. But I've found that a lot of people who want to go into agriculture are saying, I want to wake up and become something without doing the research, without gaining the knowledge of what they're going into. So if you're going to start farming cocoa, don't think it's a pumpo thing. Don't think it's a fast thing. You need to learn, you need to do the research, because I'm not going to give you the tips. If you want to improve your life, you have to invest in your life yourself. Yeah, so self-investment is very important.
We appreciate it very much, and I hope so many people have been inspired with this program.
I hope so too. I hope you all now decide to become cocoa farmers.
Yeah, but zimene zonse zimene tinakubweretserani mu episode yathu yoyamba ya nkhani ya Kwanza Cocoa. Taphunzira zambiri kuchokera ku nkhani ya Wezi Mzumara, makamaka kumene akuchokera ndi chimene chinampangitsa kuti ayambise Kwanza Cocoa. Mu episode yathu yotsatira tidzaona mmene Kwanza Cocoa amamupangira kuti akhale chocolate chapamwamba. Kumbukirani kuti programu iyi timakupatsira ndi thandizo la ndalama zochokera ku European Union, ndipo mutha kuionera pa makanema a Times, MBC komanso Zodiac ndi pa maradio awo. Muthanso kumvera pa community radio stations osiyanasiyana. Tininso ndizo lemba mu newspaper za Malawi News ndi Weekend Nation komanso pa social media.